Welcome to the channel, guys. My name is Jess. So Bitcoin just yesterday hit a new all-time high at $111.9 thousand, a massive milestone. In today's video, we're going to dive into the charts and talk about where things are going to be headed next, including new short time frame targets, signs of bullish continuation, and what to watch out for in case things start to turn. Let's get into it. Before we dive in, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And sign up to my free Telegram channel for more regular Bitcoin updates. If you're a trader and you're interested in joining my VIP channel, be sure to message me down below on Telegram. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. Alrighty guys, so jumping into the price action, let's talk about the charts, what's been going on, and Bitcoin's new all-time high. So if you guys were part of the price action for the last couple of days, you would know that before we had this sort of massive rally, we were kind of struggling a fair bit against $107,000, right? This sort of high and, double rejection of here. But in my last video, as I said, if we manage to get a candle close above 107, it's very likely that Bitcoin will continue upwards, push up to 108, 110, and into price discovery. And 12 hours after we had this candle close above 107, that is exactly what we did. And so Bitcoin's current new all-time high is at $111.9 thousand, this sort of wick high right here. So we're just shy of 112, I think. I'm not sure if we actually managed to tap 112. Maybe we did. No, so 111.9. So obviously now that Bitcoin is back in price discovery, there's a couple things that we need to talk about. Are we going to go straight up from here? Is the price action just going to be, completely bullish? Do we have targets going on the way up? Short time frame targets, high time frame targets, broader timeline targets? But also, what are we doing as we consolidate against $111.9 thousand? Do we have any short time frame signs for bullish continuation or warning signs that we need to be watching out for in case the price action does a little flip? So starting off our analysis broader and sort of higher level, let's talk about the sort of targets that we have on the higher time frame on the way upwards. So when we move into price discovery, generally the first sort of levels that I look for is psychological levels. So the sort of whole numbers that people will generally look to take profit or sell and close their position because it's a psychological level. There's an association that we're going to top out at these sort of whole numbers. And so on the way up, the first one they have is 115, so 115,000, and they sort of move up in those 5 brackets. So 115, 120, 125, 130, sort of like that, right? For example, when we had 108, the next sort of target that we saw was 110. In the same way upwards, after 111, we're probably going to be looking out for 115. And if we take a look at the prior weekly range as well, we were in a parallel channel prior to the breakdown over here, and the measured move of that channel takes us to pretty much 115, I think 115.3, right? So again, sort of cementing that 115,000 as the next sort of high time frame target, and then moving beyond that, possibly 120, 125, and so on and so forth. So as we watch for those sort of developments past 115, what we're also looking out for alongside our vertical analysis is our horizontal analysis, time frames and date range trends. So if we have it over to BLX for a second, we can see that as we've re-entered price discovery, what we're typically looking for is this continuation of uptrending price action for at least another 4 to 5 months, right? Typical date range trends marking the price action from the bottom, so the end of the bear market, to the top, the end of the bull market, has been historically 1,064 days, right, in the last 3-ish cycles. So that basically tells us that we have a projection that we should reach the Bitcoin top in this current bull cycle. Obviously, I don't know, every single cycle is different. This cycle we have Trump, and we have everything that he's doing. So as I've already mentioned, it's a little bit more ambiguous this cycle. We've also had ETF adoption and sort of like bigger institutional adoption. So not really sure 100% what that's going to have on the market. No one really knows what impact that's going to have, but potentially it could blur the lines for traditional Bitcoin cycles. But we still have, that doesn't totally eradicate all prior information, and it gives us a vague date range trend taking us to the 6th of October for continuous uptrending price action. So clearly taking a look on a high level, particularly at the high time frame charts, and now that Bitcoin's in price discovery, we are in an uptrending trajectory. Everything's looking quite macro bullish, but that doesn't mean that we're bulletproof against periods of consolidation, even high time frame periods of consolidation and short time frame drops, right? Or even potentially higher time frame periods of bearish or downtrending price action. So let's dive into the smaller details now and talk about what's going on in the charts as we approach and tap $111.9 thousand. How is the market reacting to that new high, and what will signal bullish continuation on the short term and warn us against potential corrections? So to do that, we're going to zoom into the hourly chart, and that is quite a small time frame just because the rally has been so fresh and there isn't all that much price action that has developed since we tapped 112. We can see though, even on the 4-hour and the daily charts, the price action is beginning to slow down, right? We've clearly hit some sort of wall at $112,000. So what exactly is the price action doing as we move against the wall? So if we zoom into the hourly chart, one thing that we're really looking out for in terms of continuing our bullish validations and movement into new highs and price discovery is our current short time frame uptrend. What that basically means is even if we have a small correction that takes us to retest that short time frame uptrend, the overarching analysis for these short time frame charts is still that they are relatively bullish and Bitcoin should continue upwards, right? The trend is your friend until that ends. And we can take a look here and see that the 50 MA, this blue squiggly line, also has confluence with that uptrend as well, so providing another sort of layer of dynamic support as Bitcoin reapproaches or potentially reapproaches that level at $110,000. So right, so going down to retest those prior highs, that daily chart 110 was the prior all-time high, as a level of support before continuing upwards. That is a possibility. If we pull up momentum as well, we can see the corresponding RSI uptrend here, right? We've got equal points of contact here on the RSI uptrend. And again, that's going to provide that sort of validation that as Bitcoin remains above this uptrend, we should continue to see short time frame bullish price action. And otherwise, pushing below this uptrend over here, we're very likely to go down to retest these levels of support and our horizontal support as well at $107,000. Now, if we zoom in just a little bit more into the 15-minute chart, we can start to talk about the probabilities of seeing that either sort of short time frame correction to retest the uptrend as opposed to a breakout right now. And the probabilities seem to be quite skewed for the bullish case scenario. So if we take a look at the way the price actions behaved as we tap 112, let's just call it 112, we have developed this sort of short time frame range over here, right? We pushed above that range over here, and we have bounced, retested on that, and we're sort of traveling within that range, with 112 of course being the range high. So if we take a look, what Bitcoin's actually been doing as we travel within this range is form consistent high highs. So that's a sign of strength, right? We're developing some sort of vague uptrend as we move within this range and against this horizontal level of support. So while we don't really have a very clear sort of ascending triangle structure over here, you can't really map it out using an actual straight line. We can see those developing high highs, and that is a bullish sign. And taking a look at RSI as well, we can see the sort of bearish divergence that took us through this rejection over here on the secondary retest at 112 is being currently retested and potentially broken out of. So if we see this flipped, it's very likely Bitcoin will continue back up to 112, and in that retest we have a high probability of pushing past and moving up to that next target that we have of 115. So clearly on the short time frame, things are still looking pretty good. I wouldn't say the buyers are exactly exhausted just yet. All depends on whether or not we manage to push past that RSI downtrend on the 15-minute chart and past 112 as a horizontal level of resistance. But if we zoom out a little bit and talk about the possibility for a larger correction, essentially what to be looking out for moving forward is just this level over here, right? So we can see that Bitcoin has essentially, even though we pushed past 108 and 110, what we've essentially done here on the daily time frame, looking at the closes, is pushed past this high here at 106, that candle close on the daily time frame, right? And we can see here on the Smart Money Concepts indicator as well, that's currently being mapped out as our next available level of high time frame support, or this liquidity zone, right? So if Bitcoin does see a larger correction beyond that short time frame uptrend mapped out on the hourly chart, what we're looking for then to ensure, I guess, the sort of higher time frame bullish continuation scenario is the maintenance of this level of as support, 106. And that also coincides with I call this the monthly uptrend. We've been in it for a little bit more than a month, since the 6th of April. So it's been a month and maybe like 2 weeks right now. But that's sort of our other structural validation here on the daily time frame, that despite short time frame corrections, Bitcoin is still maintaining its bullish narrative, and we aren't going to be entering a high time frame period of sort of bearish consolidation like we saw, in March to October of 2024. Alrighty guys, that is a wrap on the analysis for today. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. If you enjoyed the video, you learned something, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And join my free Telegram for more regular Bitcoin updates. If you're interested in my VIP trading channel, don't forget to message me down below on Telegram. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. Hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!